y'all, come on in. You want to meet Pearl? We have a lot to show you in this lovely lady. Here we are in the newest member of our Restoration Nation family. The house we bought on accident in the entryway. So let's show you some of the things that we saw in this house in the, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes that we got to walk through it that made us fall in love with it and know that we absolutely had to have it. Starting right here in the front room is this box head window. You know that we love box head windows, and this is one just like we had in Louise, where once this sash is raised, it actually goes up into the wall and allows a walkout onto this beautiful porch, which once we remove the lattice and the screen will be a beautiful 3/4 wraparound. Something else in the entryway nobody even knew was here until I walked in. Pocket door! You know I love a pocket door, and this is a really, really beautiful one. Or it will be when I'm done with it anyway. And then all of the doors in the entryway have transoms, one of my favorite details in a historic home. Now these have all been painted over, but that's nothing that a little bit of paint stripper won't fix immediately. We're missing our globe in this light fixture right here, but you'll see in the other room there are 2 matching period light fixtures that came out of a Methodist church here in Natchez. They originally graced the Sunday school room of the last owner of this property, who's lived here since 1974. So let's go into the dining room through my pocket door. Welcome to the beauty that is the largest room in the house, the dining room. Now, I want you to look around and see if you can guess what it was in this room that made me have to have this house. Truly, the one thing in this house, of the many marvelous things in this house, that said, better grab this one. It's this chandelier over the dining table. We walked in and saw this beauty. She didn't have any light bulbs in her, so she wouldn't light up, but I recognized what this is. This is a waterfall uranium custard glass chandelier. This is uranium glass, which means yes, there is uranium in the glass mixture. It has off-gassed at this point. It's perfectly safe, but if you light it up under black light, it will glow. But even hanging from the ceiling, not under a black light, it is absolutely spectacular. As a matter of fact, we made sure the morning before we closed that it was still hanging in place. And once we closed, we found out that this light started its life about 2 blocks up the street here on Linton Avenue in Natchez, Mississippi, in the home of the previous owner's grandmother. So he has memories of this light from the time he was a small child. And when that home sold, he brought the chandelier with him. He had someone who wanted to buy that chandelier after we had agreed on the sale of this home. And we are extremely glad that that didn't happen. Behind me, you'll see one of many absolutely incredible and intact mantles from the period. This house, I think, is about 1900, so Victorian mantle, beautiful columns, beveled glass mirror, and look at these blue glazed tiles. Every one of the fireplaces here in Little Pearl has a complete fireplace surround and hearth, all original. The glazes on these are absolutely spectacular and very, very difficult to replicate today because a lot of the chemicals that were used to make these tiles and these glazes are no longer legal to use in the United States. It's very hard to get modern tiles that look like these. So we love every single one of those. We've picked a wallpaper that will coordinate our green light fixture with our blue tile because we've got to leave these beautiful elements in this room. You'll notice the door behind me is very, very tall. We have all of these incredible thick moldings and high baseboards in every room. Over here in the corner, look how sad this looks like right now. Can we all just agree that this is the saddest looking original built-in china cabinet you've ever seen? But we will make her shine again. Glasses extant behind the wallpaper and paint. Lots of room. We have a gorgeous tongue and groove back there, so that will probably get a coat of paint to coordinate with the wallpaper as well. And then once we get her stripped either repainted or refinished, she's gonna be gorgeous. We have a lot of decisions to make in this house. The woods would have originally been stained in this house, but they've been painted from what we can tell, the better part of 70 years. So the paint has become part of the history of this home. So we have some decisions to make on what we'll be doing with the wooden surfaces here. Come on through to the kitchen. We're really, really fortunate that this home has a huge kitchen room. Now, right now, the layout isn't very effective, but we think we can make some minor changes that'll make this space absolutely functional and modern while keeping the style appropriate to the period of this home. You'll notice some of the things we love in this room. We have beautiful, original, real tongue and groove beadboard that surrounds the room. I love these beadboards that are slightly higher than what we would see traditionally placed today. And here we have it all the way around the room. Behind me, we have an absolutely enormous pantry. A lot of people wonder why Victorian kitchens didn't have cupboards like we have today. We have uppers and lowers, our kitchens are full of cabinetry. It's because most Victorian kitchens had an enormous pantry, and this is where the storage was done. Then we had freestanding pieces of furniture in the actual kitchen area, but it was a workspace. So you would have had work tables and then your stove. So we're gonna try to keep this kitchen as period appropriate as possible, but still make it function for the modern day. Now let's go back to the front of the house and we'll go down the right side and you can see the other spaces that we have to work with and the other beautiful fireplaces. Come on with me. Front parlor, we love this room. You'll notice the floors are all heart pine and they're all in spectacular condition. We are going to refinish them because over the years they've been finished in different tones. So they'll get a sanding and a fresh coat of stain, but they're in beautiful, beautiful shape. In here again, you can see these gorgeous tall baseboards and your corner blocks. Under the wallpaper is original plaster, but from what we can tell, this home has always had wallpapered walls. So the plan is to go back with modern but period appropriate wallpapers. There's a gorgeous bay window behind the cameraman right now, which is the perfect spot for a Christmas tree in the holiday season. And of course, behind me, look at this blue tile. How would you walk into this room and see this mantle and this blue tile and the complete hearth and not think you had to have this house if you could? It still has its beautiful fireplace insert with the columns that match the columns on the mantle. And this one is hooked up as a gas stove. So this is a functioning fireplace that we can use in the, I don't know, 1 week in the winter when it gets cold in Natchez. Follow me through to what we think is going to be the smaller of either 2 or 3 bedrooms once we figured out what we're going to do with the floor plan. This being a Victorian home, we don't have a lot of hall space. No space wasted on halls. So we have to figure out how to do a little bit of reconfiguration to make this space work for a modern family. Come on through. Front bedroom. It's not a huge space, but with these tall ceilings, it feels incredibly, incredibly comfortable. You'll notice that we're still surrounded by a ton of furniture and knickknacks and decorative items. The last owner and his late wife bought this home the year that I was born, and they lived here together. They raised their family here. She passed away about a decade ago, and when that happened, the previous owner left the home and moved out and left everything in it. Over the next few weeks, he's going to be dealing with getting his possessions out of here so we can start work here. But it's kind of fun to get to start our process of redoing this home, getting to see how they lived in this space. He was a very prominent judge here in town, so second property that we've purchased from the estate of a judge. I have to show you something fun in this room. Come look at this closet. We opened this door last night. The first time we had been really in here and had some time to spend in the house once we purchased it. When I say to you, we walked through in 2 minutes before we bought it. We ran through the house and decided we needed it. And we saw this pattern and said, did somebody shoot a shotgun inside this closet? That's what it looks like. It looks like buckshot everywhere. And then we stood back a little further and we noticed there's a circle in the center where there are no holes, and realized this being the home where 2 boys were raised, this is where they hid their dartboard. Then we got the story from the judge today. Let me show you what they did. The dartboard started out on this door. Mama caught them throwing darts at her door. You can imagine what ensued then. And then the judge said the dartboard disappeared. They didn't really know what had happened to it. Those little stinkers put it in their closet and then just wreaked havoc on this door for quite a good long while. And it was a few years before Mom and Dad figured out exactly what had happened to the dartboard. So we think we're gonna leave this on the inside of this door as a fun part of the familial history of this beautiful home. Above me, you see one of the 2 matching light fixtures that comes from the Methodist church that the judge attended when he was a little boy from his Sunday school room. And then on this wall, another beautiful fireplace with this gorgeous, you probably can't see in the video, but this is a forest green and a bit of a mottled brown glaze. And then the hearth has the same tile, same glaze, surrounded by a brown with a mottled green. Gorgeous original details. Let's go into what will, we think, eventually be the main bedroom. Follow me. Here we are in what will be, we think, the main bedroom of the house. It is an enormous space. Beautiful natural light in these gorgeous original wavy glass windows that we love, as you know. This room has some spectacular features as well. I love that in these Victorian era homes and earlier, even modest homes, which this is a modest home, it's only about 2,000 square feet, still had beautiful attention to detail throughout the spaces. So let's look at some of those little details in this room. Of course, behind me. The colors in this mantle are a beautiful sky blue with a mix of mauve. It looks like a sunset over the Mississippi River, which we get to see every night from the front porch. This room also has these incredible high baseboards, transom window, and I love on the closet a tiny detail, but one that I absolutely love is this gorgeous Eastlake inspired or Eastlake door pull. It's a tiny little pull, a tiny little detail, but has beautiful intricate design. Don't see that today. Off of this room, we have the one and only bathroom that's currently in this house. Our objective is to add another full bath at least, and possibly 2 more baths, but that's where we get into the design questions. We'll be doing another video for you on how are we going to design this space to retain the original footprint, but make it comfortable for modern living. So the question is, do we take this 1 bathroom, which is a relatively moderately sized bathroom. It's not a small bathroom, but it's nowhere near the large bathrooms that a lot of people are accustomed to, and try to transition that into a main bath off of this main bedroom, which would then enable us to take the back room in this home and turn it into a 3rd bedroom with potentially a 3rd bath. Or do we close it off from this side where it only accesses from the hall, make that bathroom both the guest bath and the bath for the 1st bedroom, and then make the back space a main bath and laundry room. So you see, this is where the challenges come in. Let's go see that 3rd space I'm talking about. And the last space in the house. Right now it doesn't look very large because it's full of the previous owner's possessions, but really it's a good sized space. It would be a huge main bathroom with a laundry space off of that, but it would also be a relatively good sized bedroom, and you would have private access from the kitchen for your own bathroom and bedroom. So maybe if you have a teenager that needs their own personal space, it'd be great for that. So we're not entirely sure what this space is going to be utilized for. We're fairly certain that at the beginning of its life, this was probably a sleeping porch. The finishes all are very different than in the rest of the house. The baseboards, the windows, very 1940s in a lot of the spaces through here. So we feel like this was probably enclosed sometime in the 1930s or 1940s to make more enclosed space in the house. But what great space it is. So we have this room. So right off that third space is this extra sort of nether space. Behind me, the previous owner's wife was a caterer, and so she has a little secondary kitchen. The good thing about that, it means it's already plumbed. So if we wanted to do another bath, we've already got our plumbing run here. Wonderful space for laundry, and then access to the backyard through here. This is access to the kitchen. So lots of space to work with. We just have to use creative thinking. That's what a lot of people come into these homes and they see 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. This isn't a livable space. But you have to use creative thinking, not tearing out walls, not ruining the original footprint. So in the event someone wants to return it to its original, but thinking about ways to work with the original footprint to keep the home period correct, work around the original elements, but make it livable. A couple things I love in this space. First of all, we have a Victorian era twist doorbell on the back door, which I think is wonderful. I want to know why there is a very fancy doorbell on the back door. Who was coming up from the alley? Milkman, maybe? And then here with this access into the kitchen, we have one of the only examples in the house of an Eastlake style back plate on a doorknob. This home is very, very interesting because it really shows that transitional time between when we were transitioning out of the heavily Eastlake aesthetic movement influence into the early part of the 20th century into a more modern and sleek style. This is a really fun house to get to explore. You get to see the transition from high Victorian to neoclassical revival right here in one space. So that's our space. That's our little pearl. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this tour of our accidental purchase, our beautiful little Mississippi Pearl. We call her that because she sits 1 block away from the beautiful bluff that overlooks the Mississippi River, where sunsets occur every night, and we plan to enjoy them here. We hope you'll come by and see us, and we hope you've enjoyed this tour. Watch us, follow along as we turn this little lady showing her age into a beautiful gem of the South. See you soon.